Hi Sam,
I'm on.
I'm here to talk to you about moral panics and especially the certain moral panic about violence in video games.
Good topic. What do you think on that?
Well, I have a feeling, my opinion is that video games, especially violent ones, don't make an individual violent. They already have to have that chemical imbalance in their head. Like, they have to already be a violent person. A video game doesn't make people violent.
Well, maybe that's the thing that could tip it over the edge.
Well,
I mean, maybe they could be violent, but they're not going to let it out. They play a game, they think, well, that's acceptable in our society, and they go and do it.
well, there's been violence throughout history. That, for example, what video games was Hitler playing when he decided to do what he did? Like, people have been violent throughout history, but because now that there's something to blame, they're blaming video games.
Well, I think that's a good point, but then people are a bit more unstable nowadays, aren't they, than what they used to be. People with all the social networking going on, I think people may have been corrupted.
Again, like, it can't be down to video games. People have always, you've had people who are wrong and people who are right throughout history. Like I've said, you have to have that chemical imbalance in their head.
It's just like how I'm right and you're wrong, kids, because throughout history. So what I'm saying is, right, if people play video games that are violent, then that's going to make them violent as a person. If they're looking at it and they're seeing the violence happening, it will desensitize them to it.
Well, I've been playing violent video games my whole life, and I'm the least violent person I know.
But that's coming from you.
But I know for a fact that I'm not violent. They have to have that chemical imbalance in their brain. Like, they can't blame video games for becoming violent, because what about the people who play violent video games and aren't violent?
Okay, but why would they put an age rating on the game?
Exactly, there is an age rating there, but again,
But can still get a hold of the game.
with the parents,
Not always. So, I think that, I've got a point here. If it's got an 18 rating on it, then people who are under 18 shouldn't be allowed to play it.
again, but they get access to it, but it's not because that game doesn't make them violent.
Well, I think it could help them make them violent.
If
If they didn't play it, it wouldn't be bad, but they wouldn't feel the need to
But
go out and shoot something.
people blaming like shootings and all that because of games like Grand Theft Auto is utter rubbish, because there's been shootings throughout history before games are done. What about people like Al Capone back in the 40s, gangsters with Tommy guns? They didn't have games to play. Turn it off.